Okay, let's talk about the NFTs and the hype. Let's start like this. Is it just another hype? Yes. And let's all stand up and go to lunch, and we'll have a lovely lunch for the next half an hour or so. But no, I would like to address this all a little bit in depth. Okay, where did my presentation go? Okay, I would like to address it little bit more in depth and talk about the hype cycle, what is actually happening. You know, the hype is not happening just in the blockchain, crypto, NFT space. It happens with every new idea that is presented out there, and it goes through the same phases. It happened with the Darwin's theory of evolution. It happened with electricity. It happened with all of those things. And, okay, let's have now the slide. And I would like to explain that on the one theory that is constructed by Jeffrey Moore, that wrote a book that is really, really good, and I recommend it that you read it. It is Crossing the Chasm. So what is it all about? We have here actually the whole process, how a new idea is implemented. First, let's say that we're talking about the technology. We have the technology enthusiasts and visionaries that are, adopting, embracing that idea. And that is the early market. And then something happens that is inevitable, and that is the chasm. The chasm is actually when that market falls apart, because a lot of fake projects, a lot of scam projects are happening, a lot of noise is happening on the market, and then we get in the phase of ridicule, marginalization, and the end in the phase of acceptance. What happens then? Then the idea goes to the main market, or a product, it doesn't matter. Then the pragmatists are the first one that are adopting, then the skeptics and conservatives. And this is something that will also happen with NFTs, and it is actually happening. Let's see a little bit about the evolution of NFTs. I read somewhere that the first NFT was minted in 2015, but in 2017, the blockchain community was all hyped up about the crypto kitties. And everybody was buying kitties, breeding kitties, and the kitties clogged the entire Ethereum network, and we had a lot of technical problems with that. But at that time, we were really, really excited because something happened on the Ethereum, and it was a use case, and who cares that they were kitties? It was really something new and fresh. And in 2018, then that hype maybe started. There was a very expensive CryptoKitty sold for 253 ethers. And from there, we somehow came to the year of 2021. That was actually somehow named the year of the NFTs. You know what happened here. CryptoPunks happened. Visa acquired a crazy, crazy expensive digital art. And here we are in the hype. The hype is not necessarily something that is bad. It is just a part of the cycle. It is something that will inevitably happen and is happening. And the good thing about the early market is that is very, very creative, and you have that competitive advantage if you're a pioneer. And the problem is that sometimes those projects don't have enough of understanding of the technology, and they have very crude and unpolished projects. As I said, very creative environment, a lot of ideas all over the place, but the problems are ideas are often copied, and the other thing is high expectations, poor performance again. And we also have very unregulated environment, which is, for creativity and innovation, a good thing, but not so good for the consumer sometimes. The problem when the regulation appears is that sometimes it also it's too regulative and is actually regulating the technology, not the consequences of technology. So we have that very innovative, competitive, thriving environment. So this is not a new picture. That actually, we talked about that with the ICOs. I had some projects, I was working on some ICOs back in the day, and yeah, there was an idea that wasn't really executed as it should, because there were expectations that you will develop something within a year. Yes, you can have more developers, you can, I don't know, try to do some things to speed up the process, but at the end, if you want to have a quality project or quality product, it is 3 to 5 years, whatever you do, right now. So this is one of the problems of the NFTs, or challenges that you want to overcome. And what maybe saddens me a little bit is that we don't actually learn nothing from the past cycles, especially in the blockchain community. I don't know why is that happening, but probably also because we don't talk to each other as we should. We are not as connected as we should be. You know, this is a competitive environment, but maybe it would be wise to learn from the past. I mean, humanity itself does not learn from the past. We saw that also with Luna, you know? That was the thing, do not invest. Invest as much as you can lose, because these are highly, highly speculative projects and so on. So, these are also the challenges that we have to overcome. What will I do? I have here one slide missing, is I will talk a little bit about the Slovenian projects, because there are some good examples also of art and of those of traditional businesses that actually decided to do something in NFTs. They want to be those pioneers, but we'll see there are some glitches in the story. But what I do know, that here in this audience, there is probably our Slovenian NFT community also. So can you give us a little bit of a shout, or yay? Woo! Okay, Slovenians are shy. You have to give them a little bit of rakia, and then they will be dancing and jumping. Dorne skačeni Slovenci. Okay, but to go back to my story, this is one of the early examples. They're also Vibrate is our member of the Blockchain Alliance community. They have a wonderful project. If you are in music, you should check it out. They're gathering data about the musicians, and they have some pretty cool analytics and predictions from that. They try to do an NFT with DJ Umek. If you're in that space, you probably heard about him. And it was a very lovely event with some traction, and they were the pioneers here. The second one that I think was before also Umek was Grammatic, and this was pretty impressive what he did with the sale of those NFTs. And then we come as that NFTs, as I mentioned before, are pretty good tools also for marketing. And those traditional marketing agencies decided it is the time to try something new. Why? Because, you know, there are the Gen X, I am Gen X, we are not so digital, not so tech savvy, as millennials and as Gen Z. The thing is that you cannot reach them with some very conservative advertising. You cannot reach them with the ads on the television, on radio, that are with billboards and so on. You have to find new ways to reach them, especially the Gen Z. Gen Z, they are the digital, actually, they're born with the swipe finger like that. So Gen Z does not watch television as their mothers and fathers that are Gen X did. Gen Z has totally different approach to social media as millennials and Gen Z that is not so at home there. Gen Z is a tough cookie for those agencies to crack. So let's do something that will bring that Gen Z and that we can sell them our products. One thing that Slovenia did, we had the presidency of the European Council last year, and there was also a big stand there at the Slovenian Expo, and we did the memorabilia for all those that were there excuse me, on the Expo. What they did, they hand out little cards, and you had some instructions there, and you could reach the web page where those memorabilia was and so on. And it was a very, very brave project, and I think all kudos that our government decided to do something as brave as NFTs. But the problem was the UX. The problem, because it was really hard to reach all those NFTs, and the problem was we built a community, and we don't know what to do with that community. It was just a memorabilia. If I go back to that ICO story, sorry, where is the utility? I know that one of the speakers already addressed that, but where is the utility of that token? It is very nice to see, I don't know, Postojna cave, but can I do something with it in the real world? It would be very wise to attract also tourists with, I don't know, some discounts, some possibilities to translate this lovely project and a great idea also into the physical world or the metaverse or whatever. But where is the utility? And this is also something that we could learn from the ICO era, where there was a time where everybody wanted to do an ICO. There was a guy that came into our company that was screaming, I want to do an ICO with beer. And we were, yeah, that's a great idea, but what will that token do? I don't know, let's do the ICO. And I think here, something like that happens, and there is some spark of a great idea, but it's not very well thought through. Hopefully, it will be as the space evolves. The another promotional thing that we have is Planica NFTs. Here, also, you could collect the ski jumpers and the very, very lovely art. And yes, I think there is a place for art also in NFTs, and that art also has intrinsic value, utility value. Mona Lisa, for example, sells so many tickets for the Louvre, and Mona Lisa sells so many memorabilia and so on. So there is intrinsic value in art, but we have the community, we have the lovely art, we promoted that event, and now what? Utility. In the Balkans, we have a saying that something is so common that it jumps out of a tin. Iskaču iz konzerve. We actually have in Slovenia the NFTs that are jumping out of a tin of a pate. They are called the Argetis. And again, we have a great idea. I think this is very brave for a company that is very traditional to do something and to build a community around Argetis. If I'm not mistaken, there were 335 people that bid on Argetis. They are all now have their owners. But the problem is that for agencies, they measure their success in engagement in the social media, clicks on the web page, and on a very, very traditional scale. Again, I think it's wonderful to have Argetis. But let's think how to expand those communities, how to engage those communities. I know that there were people that were, thank you very much. That is really kind of you. Okay. That engaged with those communities are important. There were people that were saying that all over this stage, that community is essential. But we have to engage the community. Community does not just sit there. So, okay, let's evolve Argetis. Let's do something with them. Then, we have also one very, very fresh Slovenian promotional campaign that actually engaged community. They are the goats, something like that, and this is the, it happens on our coastline in Portorož and Piran, very lovely cities. I urge you to visit them. And you can claim those goats with some action. But the problem is, it is still the action on the social media. You know, sign up for our newsletter and you can maybe claim a goat. Sign up to our Instagram profile and claim a goat. Why not, I don't know, visit some aquarium in Piran and then claim a goat and somehow engage the real life and the community and make something of it. So again, a wonderful idea, and I hope it evolves. I'm a fan of this specific project. It's Stepan, and I put it here because they know how to engage the community. They're very successful. They get copied a lot. I heard that today. And they do, you know, combine that online world with offline world. Because if you run, you then earn money. And it is promoting sustainability. It is promoting health. It reduces the carbon footprint. It has the values that can engage us and that we will start maybe running. And if you're a runner, you say, okay, I'll download that. I don't say it's perfect, but it is thought of. The token economy is thought of. The utility is thought of. And they're killing the marketing and all the things around that, and they have great partners and great investors. So how you build that token economy, how you build the utility. We were talking yesterday about how to attract investors. The first thing that they do, they will ask you, how will you make money? How will you engage the community? And they have the answer. And maybe we should expose some good practices and learn from them what they do good. Okay, Bruno Ver was yesterday also was also on this stage. He's from Niftify, and it's really good that we also have the tools to do NFT projects pretty fast with no coding knowledge, with no troubles of finding a crew that really, of finding developers and so on. So yes, it is really important also for those that are building the NFT project that they have as much, the easiest that they have the correct tools to do the work. So, to conclude that marketing agenda, building communities is really good. you can use it as a traditional business and so on. And reaching the unreachable is also cool, because the Gen Z, my generation, the Xers, we were collecting stickers and taping them into the albums and so on. They are collecting the NFTs. They are the digital people, the digital group. So this is also good PR, usually. But if you don't have the ecosystem, you don't have the utility, you don't have the token, then maybe on the long run, your success is not guaranteed. I think that we were also talking a lot about the other possible uses of NFTs in the space, not just through art and collectibles and so on. Certainly the gaming industry is on top. Then proofs of ownership, ensuring authenticity of products, ticketing also. But there are also some takes on medical records, supply chain, patents, and so on. I see as a challenge here with medical records, supply chain, patents, that we have the regulation already in place for that. We have also a company that is part of our Blockchain Alliance ecosystem that is dealing with health. That is an extremely tough industry to do something technologically forward, because you have so much regulation in place and you cannot just disregard it. I don't say that all that regulation is great and it's up to date and it's made for the digital era. No, for sure not. But some things are there to stay. And we'll see how the NFT use cases will prosper in that industry. Okay. So what happens now in the hype cycle? Where are we? We are probably there in the early market, because we have so many different projects there. And I believe that the chasm is approaching. The chasm means that those projects, that they won't have utility, that they won't have engaged their communities, that they won't have intrinsic value, ecosystems, and so on, they will not prosper anymore, and will, as in the ICO era happened, they won't exist anymore. That is a normal thing, because this is what happens next. We will start with standardization, then some legal certainty and regulation will appear, and as a community, I will tell you, if you're, of course, in European Union or in any other countries that will do that themselves, that is hard work. The problem is that the regulators usually do not communicate well with the innovators. And you will have to provide that communication, and you will have to talk, and you will have to persuade, and you will have to show a lot of professionalism there. Yeah? Because especially I'm part of the European Union ecosystem. For the European Union, sometimes it works like that. Oh no, this is dangerous, this is too heavy, we cannot do it, let's not do anything at all. Well, there is your role to do something and say, excuse me, but we have use cases, you can benefit from them, this is what we can do, this is what we can do for the consumer, this is what we can do for the regulator, let's find a way and let's talk. Do not be there in the corner and just yell, ah, this is happening, I cannot do anything about it. Yes, you can. We need high-quality projects. We need those. good practices, and we need to promote them and talk about them and speak about, what is really good there. And I think that NFTs, yes, are here to stay, for sure. Will all the people of the world use the NFTs and so on? I hope so. They have great potential. But will it really happen? Yes, on the long run. It was the same with Bitcoin. In 2000, when Laszlo Hanyecz, the guy that ordered those pizzas, wanted to pay with Bitcoin, it was a really tough time for him. It was not good UX, it was not seamless. Now you have payment processor providers, as yesterday Dejan Roljic was talking about Go Crypto, and it's seamless, and it's 2 clicks. And then the mass adoption can happen. Otherwise, if you have to have, I don't know how many steps before you claim that NFT, then it's a problem. And yes, people, all of them are not tech savvy, and don't forget, 30% of our population are elderly people that need help and need education, and that is where you all come in again. So, we have a lot of work ahead of us, but I think we have a very, very bright future also. I would like to end with a quote, of course. We were talking about female role models yesterday. Marie Curie gave her life for science. She was exploring radioactive elements, and she died of radiation. Let's talk about the commitment and the energy and the stamina. And she said, nothing is to be feared. It's only to be understood. Now is the time that we understand more so that we may fear less. And again, this is something you have to do. You have to explain to that main market what NFTs are. So, if you want to talk with me, yeah, here are some of my contacts and so on. I really like to talk about different projects and so on. And if you want to become the Blockchain Alliance ecosystem, we welcome you. So thank you very much.